Now, considering getting money out of politics is very important, especially if you want constituents to be fairly represented. In Baltimore City, Councilman Christopher Burnett has planned a free election fund. I was wondering if you have any plans to get money out of politics so that constituents can be fairly represented.
Yeah, so I think there are two issues really there.
Okay.
Public financing of campaigning is absolutely important, and we need to move in that direction so that folks like me and others can run a campaign, a solid, strong campaign, which we are because of the activists in the community and those people that are on board and really are motivated for change and for a fresh start in Baltimore County. But also, as you've probably heard before, pay-to-play politics is a big issue in Baltimore County.
Absolutely.
And just last night, another candidate running said, yes, I accept money from developers.
Wow.
Developers are important to the process. We need to include them, and so certainly I accept money from developers. Really what it means is that because a lot of the work that the council does is zoning, and there are a number of issues there that really need discussion around the 2020 master plan. The case is that candidates that accept money from developers, and there are a number of candidates that do accept that money, are then, unfortunately, we think, beholden to the interests of those developers. And if we can get that money out of politics, we can run campaigns around issues and then build, to do the business of the people in the interest of the people.
Right. Now, another race that's being watched by progressives is the one between Sheldon Laskin and Bobby Zirkin. And I was wondering if you would be willing to support a progressive candidate like Sheldon Laskin.
Sheldon Laskin has some very spot-on policies that I think are really what we need in Baltimore County, and I think that he would be a tremendous asset to the council.
Now, the council just did something interesting. They just gave over $100,000 to Sinclair Broadcasting, which is a multi-billion-dollar telecommunications company that has been cited for essentially forwarding propaganda on the alt-right, being very ideologically aligned with the far right. Also, the state of Maryland, I think, gave them another $1.3 million. What's going on with your county council giving a multi-billion-dollar company hundreds of thousands of dollars?
So this is really incredible. As you correctly pointed out, Sinclair Broadcasting is now on track to own 70% of local broadcasting stations, and we know that they were in the news, the national news, because of the conservative message and also their promotion of essentially what is fake news. And they are headquartered in Hunt Valley. So they asked the council for a loan of $130,000 if they hired a certain number of people, and the council granted the loan, which if they hire those workers will no longer be a loan. This is extremely problematic, not only because of the position, the ideology of this company, but if I want to open a small business, if you want to open a small business, we have to go to the bank and ask for a loan. This is a multi-million-dollar company.
Absolutely.
We do not need to be giving them loans. We need to be investing that in so many other programs, including in our schools.
That's an excellent point. I still can't comprehend how a multi-billion-dollar company that has tripled in size over the past decade needs a loan from the Baltimore County Council. That logic eludes me. Tell me this, there are a lot of Trump supporters in your district. How do they react to you when you come forward with your progressive ideas and progressive policies?
People are amazingly receptive. I think we've had, I know that we've had a very positive response. Many people who are looking for a fresh start in Baltimore County. District 3, the current councilman has been in politics in Maryland for 43 years. And our message is it's time for a fresh start. It is time for a fresh start. There are so many issues that require our attention, but even more than that, we can do better. We can look forward. We can make a difference.
Now, it seems to me you might be one of many women who has been motivated to run for a government position because of Trump. So many women have started running for city council and delegate. They're coming out of the woodwork. So tell me this, as a woman who's running for a political office, how important do you think it is that women run, and what kind of impact do you think you can have as a woman on politics?
Right, so women represent more than 51% of the population in Maryland, and they constitute only a third of our representatives at the state level, and less than a fifth on our councils. We have no woman representative in Washington, D.C. any longer. We absolutely need our female voices at all levels of government, at all levels of representation. We know that women have rich views, women's views enrich the discussion.
Yes.
We offer alternate perspectives. We have different experiences. Our vision is different. We can work together. We build consensus. We have a lot of experience that needs to be part of the discussion. And more than that, for me as a mother of 4 children, 3 teenage daughters,
wow,
young women want to be involved. They want to know that they can make a difference in politics. And it's our responsibility to say those women that have been active in the Me Too movement, yes, we can do this. Yes, you support me, and when it's your turn, I will support you.
Right.
And we will grow our numbers in politics. We will be represented, and our voice will be heard.
I think that your daughters are very lucky that you're modeling this for them. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and ask you about a public health crisis that has been devastating Maryland, and that is the opioid epidemic. It seems that you may have a plan to deal with this in your district, in your county.
Thank you very much. Yeah, opioid deaths, we've had in the first 9 months last year, we had over 250 opioid deaths in Baltimore County. It is not a problem that exists elsewhere. It is in Baltimore County, and unfortunately Baltimore County has reduced the number of beds that we have in our treatment facilities. So we absolutely need to bring those on par with our needs. We also need to have broader discussions with both the healthcare providers and those that are suffering from the opioid crisis. And we need to understand that this is not a criminal issue. This is a health issue. These are our sisters, our brothers, our cousins, our mothers, our fathers, and they are members of our community, and we need to provide for them. So we need to include in our budget the money for those treatment facilities, and to encourage greater discussion with Baltimore City about how we can provide appropriate treatment and not ignore it.
Now, finally, my last question would be this. What kind of advice would you give to the Democratic Party who's trying to take the House? What kind of advice would you give to your fellow Democrats who are trying to sway the minds of Trump voters?
I would say that we need to get out there. We need to share our message. We need to speak to people and listen to them, to know what their concerns are, and to let them know that we have a platform that responds to their needs, and we're willing to continue listening so that we can solve those issues that they and those in their community face in a way that is beneficial for all of us, so that we can move forward in a positive way rather than in a negative response. We can take control, we can be in charge, we can be the community that we want to be. It's time for a fresh start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank my guest, Colleen Ebacher, for joining us, who is running for Council Representative of District 3. And I'd like to thank you for joining me at the Real News Network.